So, we lost the referendum on the 18th of September. Scottish independence passed by for now. We lost. The 19th was marked by Alex Salmond saying that he would step down, David Cameron stating that the process of more powers was essentially meaningless, and George Square, a place that had become a symbol of the independence movement, being invaded by a group of loyalists looking to cause trouble, creating violence, and reminding us all what British nationalism really looked like. And since then, everything has changed. By the next day, a Lord Ashcroft poll showed that 48% of Scotland would be open to another referendum in 10 years. This may be why Jack Straw of the Labour Party moved to make all future referendums illegal. Within 2 days, the SNP's membership had grown by 17,000. The Green Party had over 3,000 new members and the SSP around 2,000. Blair McDougall, head of Better Together, finally admitted that they could never have won the referendum without scaremongering. The next day, Cameron confirms to Tory MPs that Scotland's budget will be cut after all. On the 27th, the UK starts bombing Iraq again. Ruth Davidson of the Scottish Conservative states that it's time to accept the Devo Max isn't going to happen, despite sharing a stage with George Galloway, who stated that we would in fact see Devo Supermax, whatever that meant. New polls suggest that the SNP may take 24 of the 59 Westminster seats that Scotland has. On the 1st of October, Gordon Brown starts a petition to ensure that the vow he delivered would actually be kept by Westminster. At this point, SNP membership is over 75,000, and the Scottish Green Youth Wing is larger than the entire party was prior to the referendum. On the 2nd, a Westminster MP says Scotland should expect to wait over 3 years to see any new powers, despite this going against the vow made and actually taking longer than it would have to simply go independent. By the following week, UKIP have claimed their first MP in Clacton, pulling England further to the right. SNP polling continues to soar, and on the 13th of October, the BBC, ITV and Sky begin planning debates for the upcoming general election in 2015. The problem is they choose to invite UKIP, but not the Green Party, even though the Greens have consistently polled higher than UKIP. They also don't invite the SNP, who have now become the third largest political party in the UK, or Plaid Cymru. On the 14th, Westminster debates further devolution. Scotland is barely mentioned, instead focusing on English votes for English laws. None of the Better Together crew even bother to show up to the debate. It's then revealed that the UK is the only G7 country to have more inequality now than it did last century. On the 22nd, the Smith Commission is formed to present recommendations of more powers to the UK government. Despite playing an important role in the referendum, the Scottish Socialist Party are not invited to contribute. On the 25th, Joanne Lamont resigns as leader of the Scottish Labour Party, revealing that the party is treated like a branch office in the UK with no real decision-making powers. By the end of October, new polls now show the SNP with 52% support in Scotland, meaning they would take at least 47 of the 59 seats at Westminster. The Greens are on par with the Lib Dems for support. The Greens begin to pursue legal action over their exclusion from the debates. Labour and the Lib Dems oppose this, knowing that should the Greens get to speak, it would result in voters leaving them to join the Greens. Next to resign is Alistair Darling on the 2nd of November. This happens in the same day that Better Together staffers issue a complaint that they never received their bonuses for helping secure a no vote. Meanwhile, as expenses hit record high levels again, Westminster destroy all expense records prior to 2010, making it impossible for new allegations to be made. On the 5th of November, an effigy of Alex Salmond wearing a 45 badge is burnt in Essex. Feel the love, guys. On the 12th, a think tank reveals that under Westminster, Scotland can expect its budget to be cut by 20%. The following day, the Ministry of Defence states that it may give shipbuilding contracts to other countries, despite Better Together consistently claiming that during the referendum, the only way to secure shipbuilding in Scotland is through a no vote. By the 17th, it's looking like the SNP may actually take 52 of the 59 seats at Westminster. On the 18th, Salmond steps down, and the following day, Nicola Sturgeon becomes the First Minister of Scotland. On the 20th, Tory ministers again call for the Barnett formula to be reformed. Nobody much shows up for the next debate on devolution, and YouGov published data showing that if people believed that the Green Party would win a seat, they would be the third most popular party in the UK. On the 21st, UKIP get their second MP elected in Rochester. The SNP reshuffle their cabinet under Sturgeon to have equal gender representation. Not that you would know it, since the BBC is more focused on UKIP's single by-election win than the entire Scottish cabinet. And on the 22nd, over 15,000 people congregated by the Clyde to talk politics. Over 3,000 in the Radical Independence Conference, and another 12,000 to see Nicola Sturgeon talk at the Hydro Arena. So this is where we are. We lost a referendum, and yet within 2 months, the SNP has become the third largest political party in the UK. England have lurched further to the right, Scottish Labour are in pieces, and the country has found a radical and passionate voice that is pushing to change the face of our politics. Commonweal groups continue to grow across Scotland. Glasgow puts up signs telling Red Tories that they are no longer welcome here. Westminster wanted to preserve the Union. Well, let's give them plenty of reason to wish they hadn't. Let's continue to build a strong and radical movement based on fairness and equality. During the referendum, I created the IndieRef Weekly Review to bring you news and updates in the lead up to September. Now, I'm launching a new show on the 8th of December, a bi-monthly breakdown of politics on the left in Scotland and of the movement as it continues to build. I invite you to join me on a journey to follow the people of Scotland as we stand up and say that the old politics aren't good enough anymore, that neoliberalism must die, that we want change and we're going to have it. We are awake, we're angry, and we're not going away.